Alright, in this episode number 102 of JavaScript playlist, here we are going to see how to create a slider, and that is going to be responsive. So we have made use of Swiper API. So this is the Swiper that is used by WordPress, which is more reliable and stable, and it's highly responsive as well. Now it's in the desktop, so you can see 3 slides per screen. Now this considers as a tab, and you'll see 2 per slide, 2 per page. Now as you make it even smaller for phone, it's going to be 1 per page, 1 slide per page. So as said, it's highly responsive, and the feature that we have included in this particular page is we have made the slider autoplay. You'll see on every 2 seconds every 2 seconds your slide will autoplay. Now as I mouse enter this section, you'll see the slider will stop. As I go outside of the container, the swiper seems to work. And one more option that we have added is, as you click on any of these 2 buttons, your autoplay will stop. And along with that, we have made use of some CSS. You see this tag is position absolute to the container, and then we have beautifully made this hover effect. As I hover on the card, you will see there is slight translate Y effect with the help of CSS we have made. And as I hover, you'll see the shadow also gets increased. The same is applicable for the button. As I hover, you'll see the button slightly uses the transform property, which is translate X, and on hover, you'll see the shadow that also gets added to it. And to follow along, I left the source code in the description. In case if you got stuck somewhere, just copy paste it and start along with me. So here we'll be looking deeper into the HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now where we will see how to use the where selector with CSS, and how to make this UI more professionally and which looks more elegant by following the padding and margin which I have mentioned in this tutorial. Without wasting time, let's start coding. Alright, let's start create the HTML exclamatory tab. Now we have one more thing, which is we need to create a container. Inside container we'll have wrapper. Inside wrapper we'll have each card, and inside card we can have card image. Inside card image we'll just have an HTML, and I have placed image folder. Inside image folder we have one.image, and then we have card hyphen tag, which will just have a overlapping text on the image, let's say development. Now after that we need card content. Inside card content we'll have card title. Inside card title, let's say inside card title we'll have card text, which can be a paragraph, and lorem 15, some 15 text. Then we need card footer. Inside card footer we need an anchor tag with read more text written on it, and we can have the class saying that card button. Now we need card profile. Inside card profile we need an image, img slash, this is going to be the user image. Then after that we need profile info, and one will have name, and the other will have designation, or let's say role. So this is the minimum thing that we need. Let's see how does our HTML looks like. Cool. Now let's start designing. And one more thing, multiple cards inside card list. So this is one card, likewise we'll have another card, likewise we have another card. We just need to change the name, the image. For this, this is going to be the card image and this is going to be the author. Now as I refresh, you'll see this is how it will look like without CSS. Now let's create a CSS file. We'll name it as style.css, the same folder. Now we need to write the hierarchy. So we have container, then inside container we have wrapper, then inside wrapper we have card list. Likewise I'll create all the hierarchy so that it will be difficult for it will not once you write this kind of CSS, your CSS is safe from overriding conflicts. We'll use the Google font called Inter. This is the trending font as of now. And click on this button. You'll see we just need it for the web, and I want it to be displayed on the I want to write on the CSS. So let's just copy this and paste it at the top, and let's just make for all element, let's remove the margin and padding in case if browser gives margin and padding to all element. Let me remove that, and let's have the font family as Inter for all element, and let's make box sizing as border box. This box sizing border box is nothing but we have to give it in order to include your padding and margin within the width which is specified, or else it will come out of the box. So if suppose the width is 200 and I want the padding and margin to be applied inside the width 200, if you don't give this, the padding will take more than the width which you have specified 200. To stop this, we are using this box sizing. Now let's fix the cover images. So select the cover image. Here we have the cover image, and what we are going to do is we are going to make the aspect ratio as 16:9, and I'm going to make object fit as cover. Let's see how does it looks. It won't work unless you link your style sheet in the head tag. Refresh this, and yes, we have got this. Now let's make the user image, profile image, as width 35 pixel and height 35 pixel. Now we want the border radius to be 50% so that we can see it in the circle form. Cool. In case, let's just make this 4:3, and this is a ratio of 4:3, and if you want 1:1, now it's 1:1. So let's just make 16:9, and cool, here it is with the ratio 16:9. Now let's set the background color of the HTML. So to set the background color of the HTML, let's set the background color of the HTML. So we have body. So let's just make this as background color red so that we can see whether it's affecting or not. Yes, it's affecting. Now we need to give the card. Let's choose the card and give the width of the card as 350 pixel, and let's change the background color of the card so to see the difference as white. Let's set the width to be 100% so that it gets fit inside the card. Now we need to set the height as 100% of vertical height, width 100% of viewport width, and whatever is there inside the body, I want it to be display flex, align item center, and justify content center. Now it is centered. For now, let's just hide the other card. We just keep one to avoid the distraction. We'll focus on only one as of now. Now get into the card and make the border radius as 20 pixels, so that we, instead of sharp edges, we'll have this slightly rounded edge. Now let's set the background color. Instead of too red, we can make this as a gradient. Let's select the body and let's make linear gradient. Let's remove the background color. We can set linear gradient as red and green for just how does it looks. We don't need this red. We can make this white, and we don't need this green. We can make this bluish tone. Now just copy this, and that's it. Now it looks smooth, and whatever is there inside the card, I want to make this. Where is the card? The card is over here. Let's just make this display flex, and flex direction to be column. This is the default flow. And if I make this row, let's see how does it looks. You can see now this is a row. We don't need this row. We want it to be column. And let's go fix the image. Let's add padding 10 pixel and border radius to be 10 pixel, border radius to be 10 pixel. 15 works, I guess. Instead of sharp edges, we are getting this cornered edges for the images. Now we need to make this tag to place over here. So for that, what we need to do is we need to select the tag and give position absolute, left to be 25 pixel, and from top to be 25 pixel. Now it's obeying the body's position. I want to obey the parent, the position. The card tag's parent is actually the card. Sorry, not the card, but the card image. You can see card image. Now get the card image and give position relative. Now I'm saying don't obey the position of the body, instead obey the position of the parent by specifying the position relative. Now you will see. Now let's just make the padding. Now we have to set the padding. Top bottom 20 pixel, left right 5 pixel, and we can set the background color to be RGBA with an alpha. Alpha is nothing but the opacity. I need the pure white, and in opacity 0.5. font size கொடுத்திருக்கான், font weight கொடுத்திருக்கான், color கொடுத்திருக்கான், margin bottom 10 pixel கொடுத்திருக்கான். Font size, font color, 74747 and line height 1.3 to 1.6 दे दिया इसने और margin bottom 20 pixel दे दिया. And as said, we have set the paragraph, which is this one. Color, font size, line height and margin bottom. Now let's work on the card footer. So display flex, now it will come side by side. We can make align item center, padding margin top to be auto and padding top, let's say 25 pixel. It's too much, 15 pixel. And border top 1 pixel solid RGBA, which is a transparent. I'm going to choose black this time, 0.5 or 3 or 12. It should be there, but it should be extremely visible. Yeah, that works. We want the space between, so what I do is we'll make justify content. The default one is row, so I'm making it space between, so you'll get some space between. Yes. Now let's set this profile so that image comes in left and our text comes on right. So here we have profile info and then we have card. So inside card we have images and this should come at the end, and inside card profile, so display flex. No, I don't think we have to work on this. We need to choose the container, yes, which is card profile. Let's make this display flex so that we can see side by side. Yep. And I want the image to have a margin right of 10 pixel, or we can make this 30 pixel. It's too much, 10 pixels. Now you see we can have a slightly box shadow, top and bottom 0, left and right 5 pixel, left and right 2 pixel, and the spread to be 5 pixel RGBA with opacity 0.5. It's slightly there, but it's hardly visible. .8. Cool. Now what we can do, let's design this name and designation, or name and role, which we have given. So we need the font size to be 0.85 rem. First of all, I don't think this is applying. It's not getting applied. I think there is a problem with the inside profile. Yeah, it's not card profile, it's just profile. Inside card profile we have profile info, only these guys. Yes, now it worked. We can make the font weight to be 600 and color to be something grayish. The same way for the role, we want it to be even lighter. Let's choose this color, 74. Cool. Now let's get into the button. So we can have the font size of the button to be 0.85 em, and let's remove the underground text decoration as none so that we can remove the underline. Now we need the background color. For now, let's set the background color to be red, and let's set the padding top and bottom 10 pixel, left and right 20 pixel, and let's have the border radius to be 30 pixel, and the color of the button to be white. Cool. Now instead of the background color, we can set the linear gradient. From dark tone to light tone, we can set the degree. That works. Instead of red, let's pick this color, or we'll simply make this pinkish. And let the degree be something like this. We change the background color accordingly. And this color to be, let's change the degree. This works. This is for the body. Cool. Now let's work on the hover of the button. Just call this, and we have :hover. We can make transform translate y as -3 pixel, and let the transition be smooth. Transition for all, I just need transform, but I'll specify all, and 0.3s, and the transition to be ease, so you can see. Now let's add a shadow, box shadow, top and bottom, left and right, and spread, and RGBA. As I hover, you'll see a slight shadow. By default this is going to be there, and when I hover, I want this to be slightly darker. See? Instead of 5, you can make this 10. That's too much. We'll just keep it as 5 itself, and then we can make this 35. A slight shadow you see when I hover it. Now let's do the same for the card. Copy this, and let's make a card hover effect. Yes, it's over here. Just call this, and this is for the card hover, :hover. If I hover, you'll see, but there is a jerk. So to stop that, we have transition, as we have already did on the button. Just copy this and give it to the card. Cool. See, as I hover, you'll see a slight transition with the more box shadow. Now let me just copy this multiple times. And here you go. Twice more. This is going to be 4. It's going to be 5. Cool. I'm not worried about the text. We'll change it later on. Now we are going to this here. So this is a website which can give you the CDN. Click on it. You will get the CDN. So this is used by WordPress. This there are many versions of JavaScript slider, but this version is more stable, which is again used in the WordPress. Now we can use this CDN on our head tag. So this is for the CSS. It's always recommended to have your CSS at the end, as we have done this time. My CSS is at the end, and the script to be placed at the bottom of the HTML. Now along with that, it has some rules to specify. The main container should have the class Swiper, and for the wrapper it should be Swiper wrapper, and the card should be actually the slides. So this is first card, second card, third, fourth and fifth. Add the class. Now let's add the pagination as well. Just after your wrapper ends, and we have made a mess. This should be Swiper and this should be your wrapper. And after that, it needs the script to be placed to initialize your slider, and we don't need to vertical direction, and we are not using the scroll bar, and these things are coming from this div, and this one is coming from the swiper button, next swiper button right. Now let's see how does it looks. Again, I'm sorry for that. Your container should have a swiper class, and your card list, which holds all your slides, should have slider wrapper. And at present, you could see only one per slide. You can see only one slide per screen. Now it has a documentation where you need to go and look for the breakpoint. Just copy this, and where you have initialized the swiper, you have to use it for 500 and for 768 and for 992 and above. I want 3 per slide, and for here 2 per slide, 768 pixel and above, and for 500 pixel and less, we need 1 per slide. So don't go with this. So instead of this, you can just make this way, 768, then we have 992, and so now we have 3 per slide. Now as you see, this is not clickable, so we need to look for clickable on the pagination. If I click, let's see how does it opens up. So instead of this, go to the pagination and give as true. It's an object. And now if I click, I can do this. And if you want a slightly more advanced version, we have a dynamic bullet. You can set it to true. Again, refresh it. You see, there is some slight animation than the previous one. Now let's set the width of the wrapper. So let's make the max width as 1100 pixel, and let's make the overflow as hidden, and let's make padding top and bottom 10 pixel, left and right 20 pixel. This is for mobile. And we can set the margin top 0, left and right 60 pixel, bottom 30 pixel. If you want to modify space, so if you give margin, you'll see the arrow gets the margin. Let's set the margin for now. So it's 40. Let's just make this 10 or 20. 30 works. It's too much. Cool. Let's design this two buttons. Now what are the classes? These are the classes. So to target two classes with one CSS tool, what we can do is, we have a wrapper. Inside wrapper we can set where the first class and the second class. So let's give background color as white. My bad, it's not wrapper, it's container which holds the before and after. Now what we can do is, we can add padding 10 pixel, and we can make border radius as 50%, and this arrow is coming from the pseudo element, so this won't work. Where selector won't work with pseudo element, so we can use it with over here. Just copy this and paste the rule. Now we can set the width as 50 pixel, height as 50 pixel. Now it would circle. Cool. Instead of red, we can just make this, and if we set the margin for the container, margin left and right, yep, that works. Cool. Now you see, if you want to change this again, it's possible. Let's call this, and this is the swiper bullet. Just override with the swiper bullet. Let's make this background color white and check. Yep, again works. And if you want to set the height and width, it's possible. Too much. 15 and 15. Yep. And we can have margin top 20 pixel, or padding top. It doesn't seem to work. Actually, it's not the bullet that we have to give, it's container that we have to give. Where is the container? This is actually the container. Swiper pagination. Call this and give margin top 20 pixel, width important. Yes, it's there, but it's not obeying because of this, I guess. So we'll leave it. It doesn't. It's not going to cause any harm. If we make this smaller, it won't be visible at all. Cool. Now let's set the autoplay off for this. Now over here you'll see autoplay, and initialize it just like how we have initialized the pagination or navigation. Let's set the autoplay, and we need to give the delay. How much delay? Let's say 2 seconds. And if I refresh, on every 2 seconds you should see the auto slide effect. Now if I pause, if I hover it, I want this to pause, so we should see pause on mouse enter. We need to specify it as true. Yes, when the mouse enters the container, I want the animation to stop, sorry, autoplay to stop. Now you see every 2 seconds this slider slides. As I hover it, there should be no movement. Now again there is one more problem. If I click here, when I click, I want this autoplay to stop. We can make use of disable on interaction. It's an object as true. Now when I don't mouse enter, it will autoplay. When I click, as I am interacting with the slider, it won't autoplay at all. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me just beautify and create an intro video for this.